How's it going, guys? This is Mark here of MVP Sports, talking about the Denver Broncos today, a team that was destroyed in the Super Bowl. It was very rough. It was hard to watch. But it's okay because it's a new season and they've got another chance to go to the Super Bowl. This time, they're going to try and win it, hopefully. So how did the Denver Broncos go about getting to the Super Bowl and winning it this time? Obviously, a big part of that's going to be on Peyton Manning. He is the reason, essentially, why this team is where it's at. He's taken them to another level. He's attracted all these players to come play for them. But here's the thing about Peyton Manning and what was kind of exposed in that game against Seattle in the Super Bowl. He needs to be able to go downfield again. Right now, the entire offense of the Broncos has a lot of run to it, and then it has a lot of these short kind of middle passes, a lot of drags, and then it's basically a yard after catch game. You know, you have Welker, Thomas going out of their way, getting 3 or 5 extra yards. That's what's been so powerful for this team. And in the Super Bowl, for example, the few times that Peyton Manning did throw the ball deep, it was nowhere near on target. So I think if there's going to be more success this time, the Broncos have to be able to change that. They have to be able to go to the deep. They have to go vertical every now and then. And, they're going to play Seattle again, maybe in the playoffs, well, in the Super Bowl, but in the regular season for sure. And when they have a team, that has that solid defense that isn't giving up those yards after catch, they have to go deep. They're going to be forced to. And if they don't have that being a part of their game as well, it's not going to look pretty. So sticking to the offensive side of the ball, the wide receiver core is going to be fine, even without Decker. Peyton Manning is the guy who makes these people into superstars. So when you have a young player like Latimer, that's going to be a great addition. He's going to be benefited so much from playing with Peyton Manning. And it's going to be all about, what I was saying before, those yards after catch, which he still has Welker, who's one of the best. Still got Thomas, not only in the tight end position, but the wide receiver position as well. Both of them could do great things after the catch as well. And then Latimer will be a good addition. Monty Ball needs to kind of step up a little bit. It's all about him. This year he has to kind of raise his level of play. He was fine last year, nothing to be too crazy ecstatic about, but I think this will be a little bit of a boost to him. And this team basically needs to have a good balance, not so much focused on the passing game. Use that running game as well to kind of balance things out. So if we can jump over to the defensive side of the ball, because this is where the Broncos made a lot of improvement this offseason. You have a lot of improvements, such as getting Talib out there, no more Cromartie, which is going to be a huge addition. Bradley Roby in the draft, he was the first-round pick at pick number 31 for the Broncos. He's going to be playing in a good system for him. He's going to really fit in well, I think, in the Denver system. It's going to help him out and make him a better player than where his draft stock had him. A big issue for the Broncos, of course, has been kind of the injury issues that they had last year. Von Miller needs to stay on the field. He is extremely important to this team. He has to be out there. Without him, that pass rush really starts to kind of disappear. And, of course, DeMarcus Ware is going to be a huge addition coming over from Dallas. He's got to be on the field. He's got to help out with that pass rush as well. But those two need to both be there because that's what's going to make this pass rush so powerful. Beyond that, obviously they had some improvements, like I was saying, in the defensive back area, both corner, safety. They're improving this, which is going to be very important to this team because they were showing up quite a bit in that Super Bowl. And I think a lot of the moves that they have made have been, we need to wash off this shame of what we did in front of millions of people. We need to just get better. We need to fix our issues that we had, both, getting some vertical passing, but also most of it, on the defensive side, improving that defensive back, getting a pass rush finally. It's very, very important. And also, actually, a guy who's going to be a good addition coming back is actually going to be protecting Peyton Manning. Ryan Clady is going to be good to have back. He really kind of beefs up that offensive line, which has been fine, but they need to, give even more time for Peyton Manning because you can never have enough time when you are a methodical surgeon of a quarterback out there. Just give him as much time as possible to find the best route, do anything and everything that he possibly can to get you some wins. So let's move over to the schedule. It's not easy. It really isn't. You're going to play every team in the NFC West, which is arguably the most powerful division in all of football. Then you have the AFC West, of course, your own division, which is very challenging as well. When you're playing, San Diego, who I think is going to be very good this year. You can forget about Oakland. But you're going to be playing Kansas City as well, which will probably take a step back, but was still an impressive team and still gave some trouble to quite a bit of teams out there. Indianapolis, starting off with them, very challenging. Of course, that week 3 at Seattle, that's going to be insane. That's going to be the rematch, and I'm not completely confident that the Broncos can go and get it done, only because that defense is such a good match against the offense of the Denver Broncos. So unless they kind of fix that and get the vertical passing game working for the Denver Broncos finally, I can't see them winning that week 3 matchup. They got the early bye, which is never good. Besides that, I think the games that are kind of gimme games, or at least not so contested, the Jets, any game against Oakland. St. Louis is an interesting one because they're going to be able to get a good pass rush on them, but I don't think they offensively can compete with the Denver Broncos. Buffalo and Miami, of course, are going to be some good ones to have for the Broncos. But this is going to be a tough year. It really will. They're not going to have any easy games, Well, I mean, they'll have some easier games, but they have about 10 or 11 highly contested games on the schedule. It's going to be a big challenge for them to win this division, honestly, because it's a tough division. It really is. And then even to go make a deep play in the playoffs, it's all going to be tough for the Broncos. It is not easy. I'm very interested to see what they're going to do and if they can go get back into the Super Bowl and finally give Peyton Manning that second ring so he can ride off into the sunset. Going to be very interesting to see. I want to know what you guys think, though. Where do you see the Denver Broncos at the end of the season? Where do you think they'll be in February? On the couch or on the field? What do you guys think? Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. And finally, my kind of best case, worst case. This is such a hard schedule that I want to put the best case scenario at 11 wins. But this is still the Denver Broncos, so the worst case scenario, 9 wins.